What's going on, guys? This is Mr. DeLORIAN here. Welcome back to a brand new video. And today what I'm going to do is break down some new images that we got just this week for The Walking Dead Season 10B. Now, these images do come from comicbook.com and everything, so I'll make sure to link the full article down below the description so you guys go, read it, check out all the images and everything for yourselves and make your own interpretations on the images. But without further ado, any distraction on the top right now, breaking down these images for The Walking Dead Season 10B. So the first image features Yumiko and a horse and everything inside what I can only assume is Pittsburgh, because obviously that's where, Eugene and other people are going to be going, a small group and everything are going to be going to, visit or meet Stephanie or anything, or at least that's what happens in the comics. So I can only assume that's what's gonna happen in the show. Also, this does also kind of show that Yumiko will make it out of the cave, which is pretty cool. I really honestly can't wait to see this setting of Pittsburgh and everything, because obviously they're not gonna actually go to Pittsburgh. I've been hearing that they're gonna use special effects or possibly CGI to make it look like a CGI version of Pittsburgh, but I think they're really gonna film in Georgia. But at least from what I've heard, I think it's gonna be cool nonetheless. But Yumiko is looking very concerned at something, which I will explain what she might be looking at further into the video and anything, obviously, since there's another image of them in Pittsburgh. The next image features Negan inside the Whisperer camp, probably eating some I think dinner, because it looks like night and everything, with the Whisperers. They cut open and killed what it looks like a boar, which this picture looks really cool. I do wonder what they're all looking at though, since there are at least probably Negan and this Whisperer and another Whisperer are looking very surprised. A couple of other also looking very stunned and surprised at something. Negan's looking at something. The Whisperer too, I think his right and everything, is looking at something. This other Whisperer is looking at something. And a couple of other Whisperers are just kind of looking off in the distance, which I do wonder what they are looking at. But if you do look off to the right here, you can see what looks to be maybe Gamma's, sleeve. It does look like the same pattern of, her, shirt, which it does mean that Gamma will get back to the camp and everything. Or this might be her before she goes to Alexandria to tell everyone that, the cave, the whole cave scenario and everything, with obviously all of them trapped inside. And the next image is probably the most interesting besides the ones in Pittsburgh and everything, but this one's probably the most interesting out of all of them, which this one features pretty much everyone that fell into the cave and everything inside the cave. And this pretty much does confirm the theory that I had, is that they will be doing some rock hopping and everything inside the cave to get to an exit. What we see here is pretty much Daryl and everything on top of a rock. He clearly just jumps and he's just making his landing and everything. Obviously everyone is looking back and everything, is very scared for Daryl and everything, obviously, because if he slips, he's gonna die. But right here you see this is probably before anyone or anything even happens. This is probably just when they fall in or anything, or at least after a little bit, before anyone dies or anything happens, because you see Aaron, you see Jerry right behind Kelly, you see Kelly, you see Carol, Connie, and Magma, but you see Magma and all of them and everything. And obviously no one, this is before any deaths happen, any surprises or anything happens. But it's a very cool image nonetheless. And yep, they clearly will be doing some rock hopping, since we did get also a teaser of Carol, doing some rock hopping. The next image features Gamma in a field, who is looking quite bloody and very dirty, in my opinion. Dirtier than the normal Whisperer looks. Or not dirtier than the normal Whisperer looks, but she looks dirtier than she usually does. So maybe she fights off some walkers and anything, or just something happens to her. But the more that I think about it, she does look very, very wet. So it could be that from if you do look very closely behind her, there might be possibly a little river or lake behind her, so maybe she tries to wash herself off or whatever from all the walker blood, or just, I don't know, something. The next image is Judith and everything. She's walking in the woods, and I'm not sure 100% if this is what it is, but I think I saw someone make a comparison to I think Carl in season 6, the season where they first arrived to Alexandria, that this might be the same jacket that Carl had in that episode or season. I honestly don't doubt that could be honestly his jacket, which would be very cool. It'd be a cool Easter egg and everything for Judith to be wearing a hand-me-down, kind of like the hat and everything in season 8, episode 9. But yeah, Judith's walking through the woods and everything. She has her katana and everything. She has maybe the pistol. Yeah, the pistol. I think you could see it inside the holster. But I do wonder why she's walking out in the woods and everything. I do wonder if something might happen to her, because if she's not with a group, something could happen to her involving the Whisperers. I don't know. But nonetheless, it's a very cool image, and yeah, this might be Carl's jacket. I don't know. The next image is Rosita and everything inside what I can only assume is kind of the council house, where they have all the council meetings and votings and just town hall meetings. And I do wonder why she's looking very, like, you know, like kind of suspicious and pissed off and everything. I do also wonder if this is that, you know, scene or anything, the season 10B trailer, the first season 10B trailer, you know, where they have Gam inside the town hall or in the council meeting room and everything. And they're all having, like, you know, their meeting and everything. And, like, Rosita's kind of just like, can we really trust her? This feels like kind of after that meeting where, like, you know, she's kind of just like, you know, still kind of contemplating, like, I don't really feel we should trust her. And she's kind of just pissed off that everyone else might be trusting her. I don't know, possibly. The next image goes back inside the cave and everything. We do see Aaron right here, and he's putting his, like, you know, canteen up to something that's, like, I don't even know what this really is. He might be trying to get some water and everything outside of this, like, you know, I don't even know what to call it, but it's a pretty interesting image and everything, I guess. But this next image is very, very interesting, actually, because what we see here and everything is Yumiko, Eugene, and King Ezekiel, obviously, like I said before, obviously inside Pittsburgh, or now that I think about it, could be outside of Pittsburgh and everything, or in Pittsburgh, I'm not sure, but all three of them are kind of looking very suspiciously and kind of weirdly, especially Ezekiel and everything, at something. Now, when I first saw this image, I was kind of just like, oh, okay, they're just looking at just something very interesting, I don't know what it is, but now I feel like this is when all three of them and everything, or maybe there might be more in the group and anything, when all three of them or more and anything meet the princess, because obviously the princess is the first person that they meet and everything once they go to Pittsburgh and everything, and once Eugene takes them all to Pittsburgh, at least in the comics. So I do feel like they are seeing the princess, and obviously Ezekiel's looking at the princess kind of weirdly, because obviously if you are a comic reader, the princess is a very, you know, I guess you could say exotic and very wild out character. So I can only assume this is the princess kind of making her very weird and awkward and odd, like, you know, entrance. And this is all three of them kind of just, you know, looking at her weird. But moving on to the last and final image, we see Ezekiel and everything right here at what I can only assume is the gates of Hilltop, or, you know, like the defenses, or, like, you know, gates, yeah, gates of Hilltop. And he does look badass and everything. Like, he looks very angry and everything, ready to fight. He has, is that a sledgehammer in his, like, hand? I think that's a sledgehammer. And he looks very bloody and everything. We can see Jerry and some other fighters and everything in the background. Obviously, they're gonna be taking turns and everything, going on waves to kill off all the walkers and everything from the Whisper attack on Hilltop. Also, I haven't seen, like, actually seeing and hearing people say Ezekiel's bitten in this scene, or, like, you know, he is bitten or anything, and you can see blood on his, like, shoulder or near his neck. I honestly can't tell. Like, there's lots of blood and everything coming from his neck, but that could just be walker blood, or it could be a bite. I'm not, like I said, it probably isn't, since obviously we do see him and everything inside Pittsburgh with, you know, Eugene and Yumiko, but, you know, it could happen and everything, and he just doesn't reveal it to anyone, or maybe he tries to go to Pittsburgh and everything to maybe be cured. I'm not sure 100%, but it's a very, very badass and cool image nonetheless. But yeah, those were only some of the images from, like, you know, this article. There were a lot more images and everything, but they were also images that we've already seen before in trailers. They're kind of more so pictures and stills of already repeated shots we've already seen, but those were all the images and anything that I thought a lot of people would be interested in seeing and everything, and, like, one broken down. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and everything. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more of the latest Walking Dead content and news. But yep, those were all the images and everything. I hope you guys did enjoy this video and everything. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yep, I'll see you guys later. Peace, my amigos, and peace out.